I saw like a hat.
That's, yeah, that's our.
I couldn't tell where it was coming from because it was on the wall over by, well, no, I probably not.
That's my guy.
That's John. That's,
All right, well, we'll call the meeting to
we
order.
have enough.
Call the meeting to order. Everyone can stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, with David gone, I'll be running the meeting, so I apologize if I mess anything up. Good reminders would be appreciated. Our district mission statement is in partnership with the communities. The mission of the Dilworth Glendon Felton School District is to educate individuals in an environment of trust and respect so they become self-directed, responsible, lifelong learners. We have Angela and Laura, myself, Shannon and Brittany here, along with some visitors. We got John Jacobson and Chase with us, and of course Brooke at the helm. And I think, what?
No, nothing. No, you're doing good.
Okay.
We just were wondering.
And I think Micah may be on the way. All right. Can we adopt the agenda? Anyone, do we have any changes?
No changes to the agenda.
Do we have a motion to adopt? Motion by Laura,
Second.
second by Brittany. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Any public comments or rebel recognition?
Some rebel recognition for sure. Congratulations to our senior high knowledgeable, Coach Tobias. They are going to state. That is at Craigan's, and I want to say April 11th. It's early April anyway. I'm pretty sure it's, yeah. So congratulations to them. I think it's, I was talking to Katie last week. First time in a long, long time that they made it to state. So kudos to them. And then I also had printed out the Tri-College Math Competition results, and I think you guys maybe saw some of that too, I don't know. But we had 3 teams that did exceptionally well. So I just want to recognize our math department and those kids that participated in that competition. There was 3 different teams that did very well. So, yeah.
And we had kindergarten roundup, right?
Yes.
Recently? How'd that go?
Kindergarten and preschool roundup. There was 53 preschool kids, and I think over 80 some in kindergarten. So our kindergarten number is just over 100 now for next year. So that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So that's, yeah, it was a very well attended evening, and it's better than this year's number. So we're happy.
That is good.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Any other rebel recognition?
Our community ed department had a really successful ARUX launch, I think, the technology launch site for our community to go and enroll in community ed, and I had the opportunity to go and do it, and it was much improved from past experiences. So I know technology launches can be large and scary, so congratulations to them.
Yeah, Tracy was really happy when I talked to her on Thursday, and she said, this is going really, she's just really happy. So, yeah, because sometimes it's like, boy. And thank you to John, too. I know you were a part of that. You guys working together to make sure it was going to get started the way we wanted it or needed it to.
Give credit where credit due. Tracy did the heavy lifting on that one. So it's a closed ecosystem, so it provides more services for the end user. And we got some reporting, but Tracy, she did the heavy lifting. So she took ownership of it.
That's great.
Fabulous. Moving down to 6.1 reports, we've got our technology.
All right.
Nice transition.
Yes.
Well done, Angela. Nailed it.
Take notes.
As attachment, I really have 2 items for discussions: AI and cybersecurity. Since I use the color laser printer, you know it's official when you do that. So, AI, you know what the goal is really to have the majority of staff be comfortable with AI tools. Majority of staff's the key word. I know a lot of school districts, a lot of organizations, you might have pockets, but our goal is really to get people comfortable with it. And even if it's on a personal level, that's going to save on time. If it's saving time in the classrooms, reducing busy work, that's a win. So how we did that, we surveyed staff. And it's the survey, people roll their eyes at it. I roll my eyes at it, but we wanted really to people say, if you got specific questions, we're going to do our best to accommodate that part of the PD. And our PD was in small groups. That was subject areas, grade levels, because a high school math teacher is going to use different AI tools versus a first grade teacher on it. And the staff that actually said, I got actually put that as part of the slide presentation to give a visual. We're reading the surveys and we're trying to answer your questions, but we got a lot of different skill sets and a lot of different needs in different areas. So how do we do that? So we had some training last spring, we had some in the fall, and we had some this winter. Smaller groups that shared before, is beneficial, but we also are using ChatGPT from the office side. It might be as boring as drafting emails, writing letters, or recommendation. It saves time. We got content where we'll say, yep, I want to take some text, and I'm going to share this with students, but I need this text to be at a 5th grade level. It might be a 4th grade student, or it needs to adjust it to a 3rd grade level. We got teachers that are using that, so that's exciting. That's fun to watch, actually. We use Magic School, like a lot of other schools, pretty popular tool amongst the K-12 industry. We also rolled out the Brisk Chrome extension. Our staff have that extension, and if they want to either create content or provide feedback for staff, and they can say, I want to provide feedback in this standard aligned in this area, that extension will provide that for the student. Our teacher can help adjust. Yep, let's focus it on this manner or this tone, and we can do those things. One last AI thing is, you'll notice that framework that I have in the document. This is something that we shared with staff at the beginning of the year. My gut tells me DGF is going to be like other schools. We're going to probably have an AI policy, maybe for AI. We're not there yet. I don't know if any school's really at that point. When I say policy, vetted by lawyers, team like legit, policies on it. But this is a simple one-page document. We wanted to give something for our teachers that is not tool specific, and it can be applied at the high school level, middle school level, elementary level, because like a lot of districts, we have some staff that, yep, I love AI, I can use it to its fullest capacity. We got some staff that, dude, shut it off, make it go away. No, but that's fair, that's where they're at that point. Let's help people get through. Second item, cybersecurity. The goal, at least for me, what I've shared with staff is to protect our students, protect our staff, that will protect our district, our organization as a whole, specifically in that order. Cybersecurity it's a tough sell at times. And I don't want to sound like I'm selling it, but you kind of have to sell it. You can't touch it, you can't see it, it's expensive. And no one, and I mean no one, has ever said, hey, Jacobs, my password's longer and I gotta do multi-factor authentication? Thank you, I appreciate it. It just doesn't happen.
No,
But
it doesn't.
Yeah,
No, it doesn't.
it's today's world. So email phishing, compromised accounts still needs to be the number 2 way of how breaches happen. So we take approach, a layered approach. We adopt the CIS framework. We have training, we do email phishing campaigns. We are very intentional in having a positive experience, almost sometimes over the top. But I know people are gonna feel like, oh, I got caught in email campaign, they're apologetic. Don't, we're part of the email campaign as well, that happens. But we're transparent. We're gonna try to set realistic campaigns to teach staff. This is today's world. The days of somebody sending you a PayPal for $10,000 over to, people don't fall for that anymore. So we're trying to offer realistic training opportunities best that we can to protect their own data, their identity, and the districts. We've also partnered with a few different vendors. The CIS, Center for Internet Security, is a nonprofit, but they've actually provided free tools for K-12 schools, scanning agents, scanning utilities for email. So if you look at the second attachment, if a student or staff member is on our network and they send email, they surf a web, they go through these, also they call them filters. This is a free service for K-12 schools. The report that you're looking at, that is 1 week's of data for DGF, staff and students. So we get hit with a few hundred malware attempts, phishing attempts, every single week on it. And all it takes is one person to accidentally click on something and we're reactive to a solution. That's an example of one tool, one layer that we have to help protect our students or staff, the district. But that one doesn't cost us anything because it's part of the CIS partnership.
What's the CNC?
Something collect, I forgot off the top of my head. It's something collect, and it's a type of breach, but it's not popular, it's not common, it's tough to implement. Phishing attempts and malware is still the easy targets. And it's not like these companies are intentionally targeting DGF. They don't know who they're doing, they're just doing YCAS. And if they find an opportunity, then they go after it, they exploit it. And a solution like this will say, yep, this is a known website that has this. Somebody at DGF clicked on something and is trying to do that. And that filter is saying, when I really did that, user the opportunity to click on something, let's keep it in the gateway level. So,
What is other? That looks like the largest one.
other are domains that this organization says we're not quite sure where we're gonna place them, but they are in a category that we're watching their eye. We just haven't put them in an exact category, so other is their way of generically categorizing. Government traffic, hardening. We also use agents, hardening agents on our servers and our desktops. And what that means, we'll go and look at a common tool, a common Windows machine. We'll say, yep, we got it locked down, same type of rates. We'll run a scan, and it scores it. It says, yep, compared to today's practices, this device on your network scores this much. Myself and my guys, we look at it and say, all right, we can tweak this, adjust that, not be disruptive to the business operations, run it again. Hey, our score went up, that's a win, that's good. We're habitually doing that. So we get to the point where we want to use an outside company to do an assessment. We're identifying all the known issues that we're aware of. Let's do that first, and then have an outside expert come in and vet that, for, have a neutral third party to do that process. Last two items, TEALS, the Microsoft program that we did at the high school for programming. They expanded their programming content to offer AI and cybersecurity for our students. So I was talking with Suzanne Everson, the teacher on there, and she says, yep, coding's been great. We got kids working with other engineers at Microsoft. That's awesome, but it's coding. When I say this is, I'm in the IT, it's boring, it's strong. But to give those kids coding opportunities, and even Microsoft is saying, let's give them AI opportunities and cybersecurity opportunities. That's what they're going to roll out next year. So I think the kids will enjoy it, and it's good awareness. And last but not least, Ryan works with our elementary students. It's up through the 5th grade. Part of that classroom time is best practices. What to share with vendors, online presence, what's appropriate, what's not. That's objective. And I like the CIS framework because it takes the subjectivity out of it, and they kind of lay out some specifics. So it's a great resource that we utilize to help have lessons in the classrooms, to harden network systems, to have filters of firewalls. So that being said, burn through this list. We would be open for any questions.
I just want to thank you for the AI training, because I was a part of the last one, the after-school training. I was over with the elementary, and it was interesting. One of the points you made was I was sitting by a kindergarten teacher, an interventionist, and then like a 3rd grade teacher. And the kindergarten teacher, so Ryan was doing his little spiel, and then he has a little project for him. So like, okay, do this, cut, paste this. And the kindergarten teacher goes, oh, no, guys, it doesn't have to be what he has up there. Now ask it to be 3rd grade. Like write it in 3rd grade, write it in, the interventionist say, well, how about if yeah, just ask it. And then it was the same text, and then they asked for a 3rd grade level, a kindergarten level, and I don't remember what the intervention said. And they all came out different. Same paragraph, just written, and I thought, just super cool. And I think about special ed too, and about writing modifications and whatnot. It was just like that. it was just super cool.
Differentiate.
Yeah, yeah. And it was, it's not like, oh my God, I gotta rewrite it. Okay, let's think, now you're a teacher trying to write it at a second grade level it just was, it was just fun to watch them kind of light up going, oh my God, you're kidding me. It was,
See how we can use this.
yeah, right, yeah, and it's real and it's
Applicable.
efficient and applicable. So, yeah, anyway, it was just fun to see that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And in that same session, we're intentional to hands-on time. Let's get people to use their product. So that same session, the person didn't have their laptop, and I'm there, hey, got a laptop for you. I'm like, oh, come on, I want to go through this. No, that guy. And in their defense, they said, yeah, I'm old school, don't do this. Where do you save time? Needs to create a menu? Well, of course I got to create a menu. I got to feed my family. All right, let's do that. You got kids special diet needs? Absolutely. Let's do that. And you can just see them, oh my gosh, this is great. So they saw me in the hallway, the next day. I'm like, yeah, I've used it for this and this and this and this. And here it is. That's a win. So,
Any other questions?
Well, thank
all
you.
right, you bet.
Thank you. Next up, Building and Grounds Director, we got Chase.
Hey guys, give you a little report on the building and grounds realm, custodial activities. Building and classroom cleaning, rooms are getting cleaned every day. Every now and then we get a couple hiccups, missed vacuuming, something like that. We're working on fixing those. Bathrooms have been hard to manage lately. I don't know if you guys have been around and noticed, sometimes they smell. We're working on trying to figure out how to work on that. I know we've had a lot of issues with graffiti so we're working with the principals and everybody we've been shutting some bathrooms down here and there just to get the point across, hey, you use it, you lose it, so
Is that at both buildings? The graffiti?
mainly over here, yeah. So, but it switches between the bathrooms, so it's kind of. We're also coming up with some checklists for the staff for cleaning, so we can keep the standards the same throughout the district. That way, employee update, we're fully staffed right now. Currently have a total of 13 custodial staff, 6 in Dilworth, 7 in Clinton. Each site has 1 day shift, and that's 7 to 3:30. 1 mid shift, that's 12 to 8:30. They usually help out with lunch. And then a night shift, so that's 3 to 11:30. We just recently went through a change in Dilworth. Kitchen is now going to be taking over the lunchroom. So we're going to move one of those staff members back to night shift, so we won't have that mid shift. So hopefully that helps get some of the cleaning done. Short staff the last few months, mainly due to the sickness going around, that and injuries, who knows what. So we're working through that. And then also working on providing more trainings for staff. I recently had Renco, our supplier, come out, and he ran through our scrubber machine, how to clean it, how to take care of it, what kind of pads to use, the cleaners to use. And so that was really nice of Renco to come out. I'm planning on having them come out with all our equipment, get training on their chemicals, how to use them better, what to use on what. Equipment and supplies. We're sitting good on supplies. We've tried a few different vendor products, but Renco, we've decided we're going to continue using them. They're a good company, and they treat us pretty good. Like I said before, we're trying to get more training on all of our equipment and chemicals for our staff. The more we know, the more effective and efficient we can be with our cleaning. I've been harping on everybody to keep their closets clean, because if we're clean and organized, it takes less time to find what you need. And our supply, if we need to order things, we actually know how much we have instead of it spread everywhere. And then we've been ordering more parts for our equipment, like our vacuums, so we can fix those in-house rather than ship them off and make the service. Maintenance side, employees. We still have 2 maintenance employees, 1 at each site, and they both work 6 to 2:30 p.m. Repairs and fixes. So some of the things that are going on right now, we have that Fort leak. It's slowed to almost nothing, but I'm waiting until Fort's not used quite as much to fix it, because we got to drain the thing, and it might take a while, and start digging into stuff, and it could be worse. So for a good time to do that. Room 105, the science room, the drain is belly. I guarantee Shannon's probably mentioned it a couple times. Plan for fixing that will be once school gets out, they're gonna start working on that. Lighting upgrades in classrooms, I always update those on the strategic plan. The kitchen exhaust fan wasn't working, so it was like a sauna in there when they were doing dishes, and so that's been replaced. We added a middle school art room slop sink. Brian had an extra one, and he just gave it to us, so we installed it, so that was kind of nice of Brian. Boilers are getting the attention they've needed for a few years. So far this winter, they've been awesome, but just the other day, 2 of our pumps, we've realized, have gone belly up, but we have 3 of them, so we're working on one, and have the other one serviced, and hopefully back up to working. Added a new compressor for our boiler system also, on the 14th of February. We added powerful concessions, so concessions can have more items they can plug in. Leaks, we just take them on as they come and we fix them when we find them, so. Replacing filters on the rooftop units and air handlers, and we're also going through them and trying to fix the issues that we find, so, before they become huge issues and cost us. And then we upgraded the elevator in Dillard. So some items for the future. There's been a lot of talk about OSHA. They've been visiting a lot of the classrooms, or the schools around us anyway. And so I've been attending a lot of meetings, trying to figure out what they're looking for, trying to prepare ourselves for when they come and visit us. I don't know if they ever will, but that will be kind of. So, and then HVAC units, again, we're running through those. A lot of them need some help, so we're going to try to those back up to working quicker. Heat wheel replacement, I know last time I presented, we talked about that. It's still on the plate, we just need to come up with a plan. We're going to do this. Pneumatic control replacement plan, again, that's down the road, but something we need to talk about. And then
What's the pneumatic?
So every classroom has a new pneumatic valve that opens and closes to let the heat in.
Gotcha, thank you.
Say,
It just wasn't connecting.
most of our classrooms, they don't work, so we physically have to go into each classroom, manually
Open.
valve, like crack it open for a little heat or more heat, or so. Yeah, there's quite a few more.
And that should be automatic based on the temperature
Yeah,
settings?
so it should run off of your thermostat. So
Gotcha.
the thermostat opens and closes it by air pressure. And then the lunchroom walls, I've found an epoxy paint that I'm going to put on them to help protect them from food and make them easier to wash. Yes, and they should help with scuffs and whatever else. So, I also plan this summer to repaint the stage in Glidden. I don't know if anybody's been up there on that stage, but it needs some help. And then we will start the solar project this summer. It sounds like May, sometime either the end of May, they'll be starting to work solar panels on the roof.
That's on the Dilworth side.
Dilworth only, yeah.
Do we feel ready for that based on some of the other roof things happening over there?
Yep, on the roof that is going on is a good spot, just was redone.
Perfect.
And also with that company, they said if we ever do roof projects, it's included. They come and take it off, that's the other thing, and they put it back on, annual charge. So, and then equipment, we got a new lift. We were planning on selling the old one, but Dilworth didn't have a lift. And so now we have a lift in Glidden, a lift in Dilworth, so we don't have to put it on the trailer and haul it back and forth every time we need one. Then I made a training for our skid steer. So now whoever wants to use our skid steers, they have to go through the training first, sign off and take a test. So now everybody's qualified, you have to be qualified to run a skid steer. And, yeah, AI helped me make the
I thought it was my driving incident.
No, AI helped me actually come up with the training for it. Grounds, we're gonna start looking for 2 more students to help during the summer for grounds, so if you know any students looking for a job in the summer, send them my way. I plan on adding mulch to all the sites and the flower beds. They've haven't had any for a couple of years now. And then also trying to fix all these bald spots in the grass, just put some topsoil and reseeding those. And then we're gonna be painting a few parking lot stripes and filling some cracks in the parking lot. Any questions?
Slide along the way.
Yeah,
there
well, it's
any-
hard to put it all in one little.
Has there been any talk of moving that fire hydrant at the Dilworth parking lot
Well,
this summer?
That hydrant has been talked about since it was put in, and anyway,
Well, if I'm gonna do that, I should do the whole parking lot.
yeah.
Baby
So,
steps.
yeah, Laura, I couldn't agree more, and, Brooke gets to look at it every day outside her window from her office, and it's bad. Yeah, it's a bad thing, so. Right now, no, just because the maintenance and the boilers were probably priority and whatnot, but yeah, it's unfortunate. The one thing I just wanted to comment to, and I think I put it in the weekly update to you guys, is all the work that Chase has also taken on with Val, our SRO, Val Kellen, on helping in planning this evacuation and helping in planning with any of the security things. Val has come to me and said just how much she appreciates Chase helping with that. He doesn't have to necessarily, but he wants to be in the know and make sure that his crew and his people are ready to help and the building's ready, and I just really appreciate that, Chase. And you attending meetings with her and that too, it's just been really helpful. So I just wanted to make sure I said that.
It's always good to get a second fresh perspective, because I know as a former SRO, you get so focused on these are what needs to happen and this is the way I see it, but then we don't necessarily look at some of the other challenges. So being in some of those meetings with you from the emergency management side, had good discussions. So I know Val really appreciates you being her counterpart in that. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Next up, we've got the American Indian Parents Report.
Good evening.
Evening.
Sorry, I don't have a nice handout for you guys for you to look at, but, so, if you don't know, I'm Don Mars, I work with the district. I did not ask, our parent committee to be here for this, so we, at our last meeting, we had, trying to meet some deadlines for our application for American Indian Aid, through the state, and, with where we were at with the transition between Mr. Lepard and Mr. Hendrickson, we, as the APEC was kind of being formed, we didn't really have a really good functioning one in the years past. So with the ladies that we have kind of sitting on our committee now, I feel very comfortable and very, I feel very good that they're going to be helping us build this program into, a good, successful program to help Native American students be successful in school. So we had trying to meet some deadlines, and our application and stuff has all kind of been used in the past, I think at least 2 years that I know of, with the Department of Education, Minnesota Department of Education. And so when our parent committee took a look at it, they wanted to redo some things, retweak some things, reword some things. So that is kind of why they voted, the vote of non-concurrence with the school, which maybe sounds a lot worse than what it really is, but it it really honestly just means that we have kind of more work to do and more data to gather. So the parent committee kind of we work with me, work with the school to try to get that data to make more data-driven decisions with some of our goals on what we want with the school and our Native American students on succeeding in school. So with that, we are going to use all the time that we can to try to get any more data to help make those decisions and help word this correct. That's kind of specific to our school district and our school kids. So yeah, working on getting data with attendance and grades, and there were a couple of other things on there, but I did not write them down. But yeah, to helping our kids succeed. So our next meeting is going to be April 2nd. Our APAC meeting. We'll meet and we'll figure out what we need to get done. With them, some of them come with some experience with being a part of the Moorhead parent committee as well. Some of them have kids or grandkids over there, and then they have nieces and nephews or grandkids over here as well. So yeah, I think it's really all I have. Is there any questions from you guys or?
You mentioned a deadline. Was that something that's deadline through the state? So we have to turn that in every spring,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure it's the same thing I'm thinking of from last time. Are we still like on target to meet those goals if we get some of that additional data and able to meet or strategize for that?
Well, yeah, with our vote of non-concurrence, that is already being turned into the Department of Education, and it doesn't mean that we're not completing our goals and the kids aren't on track. It just means that our parent committee, they want to fix it so that it's theirs, because this is from the past 2 years.
Sure.
And these parents that are on this committee right now were not a part of that at all. So they just want to make sure that it's worded so that we have it to where it's specific to our kids is all. But yeah, we're on track with the kids and stuff. And we just need to, we're just trying to figure out what we don't know with this. And we're learning a lot in the past 3 months. So
I think I'll just comment on it too. It's been real good for me this year to listen to John about his group and this parents group, and their involvement has significantly improved. And because of that improvement, they dug deeper into the report or the application and went, okay, hang on a second, that's fine, but that's not what we're looking at now. We want it to be better, we want more. And so that was the one thing that was nice for me. Okay, yeah, we're not concurrent, we're not fulfilling, but they didn't write that anyway, and it's like, no, we want this to be better. And I just really appreciated the time that I got to meet with, because it's the most involvement, I think, that you've created now over this last couple of years, this year more than ever. So we're moving in a better direction, no question. And so, yeah, it's just.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys only did the non-concurrence because you had the deadline to meet, so the plan was already submitted, and as you're going through it, you're just wanting to make updates.
yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. Yeah, we submitted what we had been doing for the past couple of years, and then nobody's ever really sent it back for revision saying, hey, this is not correct. So, but we just want vote of non-concurrence to know that this parent committee is going to be hands-on with it and just wants to make it good for everybody.
Proof that they're reading the documents, right? That's good, that's good stuff.
That is,
If it's not doing or if it's not saying what we're doing, that doesn't make any sense.
I totally agree. The one thing too, I forgot to ask, or wanted to ask you too, John, is that survey. I know we sent that parent survey, so you guys may have got a survey if you have any ancestry that would have a student. And I haven't looked at that list. Is that grown quite a bit, or have you looked at it lately?
There are kids that are on that list that were not
Okay.
on the Native American roster that is with our school, and then there are kids that are on there that, have been a part of my meetings and some that have not been a part of the meetings and stuff too. So, I do have that list. I think it's close to 30 to 40 students are on there right now. How much are new, I'm not sure yet, but I do have the spreadsheet.
Good, hopefully that can generate some more students too. So,
Yeah, hopefully, and then, yeah, with them calling into the office and, you know, making sure that the boxes are checked that their students are, you know, registered at our American register too, that will definitely help, and that will help funding as well.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Any other questions? Thanks, John.
Thank you.
thank you, John.
All right, 6.4 board committee reports. First up, we have the budget committee. I guess that one's on me since David's not here.
Can't wait to hear what you say, Nicole.
Oh, well, he was gonna send an email out to everybody. Did he do that? I didn't see it myself. No? Okay. So then we're gonna go off the fly. So we talked mostly with, our finances, and part of it we will cover, later in, our motions to, work with Brady Marks. But we talked a lot about where we were at, kind of where we wanted to be, what percentages we were, and talked more, I think, on an overview of projections, looking at student numbers, and just being very conservative in our movement of funds. And kind of with the state, we're still in that limbo. We have some people working on our side and understand, thanks to a lot of the work that Shannon did, understand where we are as a district and why we need to be able to have some discretion in moving funds, but we're not there yet. So just looking to be conservative going forward because we are not sure where we will be financially with the budget constraints of the federal and state subsidies that we may or may not be receiving. So.
Yeah, and I'll just add that Marcus was there too, our business manager. And just so you hear this, Nicole, when we left, I walked up with him and he just said, hey, that was really good for me. Just because he felt with his communication with you guys and the questions, he was really getting invested, and that's the one thing I was hoping from him is to become an invested employee. And in that position, it, to me, is vital for supporting me too, and for you guys as a board. And he's excited about being a part of that group and being able to report more specifically. So I think that was appreciated that night.
That was my first budget meeting, and so I had lots of questions. I always have lots of questions, but I had an exceptional amount of questions. And he was very patient and very easy to, I would say, dumb it down to my level and be able to explain each of the fund codes and why they can go and move and all that kind of stuff. So I really appreciated Marcus's time. And he was clearly very passionate about the Rebels and, our school and our teams and making sure that he could do what he could to make best decisions for our district. So thank you, Marcus. Any questions on the budget? Don't know a ton yet, but the kindergarten numbers look good, so
Yes,
that's
helpful.
good. Negotiations. That's,
Well, that'd probably have to be me.
that,
Yeah.
Because
I was not able to, my
Yeah.
kid was sick.
Yep, and that's okay, and Angela's out of town with work, and David's not here today, so that brings it back to me. We did have our first meeting. We went over primarily language. This is the certified staff now. And we did go through all the language with them. We've done a lot of work in the last two negotiations on the language. I thought it went very well, and so did they. So I don't think the language is gonna take a long, or many meetings, I should say it that way. And so we can start talking money sooner. It was just, yeah, it's great to have people on their team that have done it in this last group too. They're not all new. There's some people, just so it makes it easier with the relationship that we've been building the last two rounds. So, yeah, very optimistic in how that goes. Our next meeting is April 7th. So, yeah, off to a good start and very positive first meeting. So, question?
Any questions for Shannon? Can't offer anything. All right, next 6.5 superintendent report.
Yeah, so I just got a few things. I'll try to be quick here. At the Capitol, I did talk a little bit about that, I believe, in my weekly update with you guys too. Just a couple bills that are out there still that are getting some traction, that are important to us, as we've shared with them, the LTFM, to offer, so we can, I'll back up. The LTFM dollars and the board's ability to levy if we need to do roofs is getting a lot of traction at the state, just because there are so many schools that their LTFM dollars won't cover it. They just, no matter what their budgets are, the roofs are just, they're just this big elephant in the room, right? And
They're
so
expensive.
they are, they're just very expensive, so that is getting a lot of traction, so we're hopeful that can pass. And then as we go back to looking at our plan, so we can get back on schedule before we have too many leaks in the building. So that's one. Senate File 2239 is an LOR one, that is Senator Kubek, so from Oregon is helping with that one. And that's to increase that LOR by $250. That's one of the things we have talked about a lot this year and sent as a board down to MSBA. And now we're getting House and Senate files that are getting written on that. Oh, and the last one is House File 957, and that's that internal transfers that we've talked about. Both the Republicans and Democrats are listening to that and really looking into it just because it's no cost to the state. And right now, the budget at the state is really tight, as the governor's last week's revamp was. He's cutting another $250 million out of education for next year, and then $450 million the year after. A lot of it is private charter school dollars that he's eliminating, which is not affecting us directly, but yet there's still some other adjustments he's making just because his budget, it looks a lot like ours right now. It's just really tight and it's difficult, so it is what it is. That's that. Bird meeting, and this is, we've been meeting, and I talked about this with Chase here too just a few minutes ago. We are going to do that evacuation on April 30th. We've been working really hard on both sites and our protocols and our coverages, where we're going, and it's just been, it's been nice to see the leadership all coming together to make sure that this is going to be a good, positive thing that we can feel with some more confidence in as we move through, and hopefully again never happens. Talking to the bus contractors too, they're really happy that we're doing it, so they get a little idea what they're getting into and how it might affect them. So then right after this drill on the 30th, that is a workshop night for us, for staff, so then we're going to do a debrief right after. So go, okay, oh yikes, that doesn't work, or that went better than I thought, or the Glendon site is good, the Dilworth one not so much, or whatever it might be, or hey, wow, that went awesome, and we're in a good place. And the one thing the bus contractors asked, is this something we're going to do every year? And I said, yeah, I'd like to do it once a year, just so we're ready. You know, an evacuation is a weird thing because it won't happen probably hardly ever. It's very rare that you evacuate a building. The one thing that our public needs to know is we would never evacuate a building without having extensive conversations with our county sheriff's department, local PD. They don't make the decision, the district has to, but we are most definitely going to work with them to talk with them to say, hey, is this the time or not? Most of the time, we're going to be sheltering in place, and we already do those practices, so this is something that would be different. I just need to make sure that our parents understand what it might look like, our bus contractors know what it looks like, and our staff know what it looks like. So.
I have a newbie question.
I'm sorry, yeah.
How was this evacuation different than like a fire drill? Sorry for the.
Oh, no, it's a great question. How's it different than a fire drill?
Yeah.
Because we're gonna be totally offsite. So we have so Penner's bus garage
Yeah.
is south here, about 2 blocks away. And so it's like a regular fire drill, we're right out here.
Correct. So
Right.
you're leaving the premises. and
Leaving
then-
the whole site.
So it can be used for a variety of different, yep.
It could be a derailment of the railroad, it could be a chemical spill, sorry.
No, that's what I was
Yeah,
saying.
you know, it could be, or something else.
Catastrophic event where we need to remove kids from the scene or situation and then reunify them in a different location.
And it could even be a fire.
Yes.
So that the fire is like, yikes, they really shouldn't be this close. Let's get them to our evacuation site so they're safer distance away. And then we already know our bus drivers know how we're gonna pick up, how the parents, and how this whole rotation will work.
Sorry, I should have known that.
No, that's.
Why would you know
I
that?
don't think most people would know
Yeah,
that.
no.
So I've helped up with several of those events in West Fargo as an SRO. They do theirs yearly, and they pick a different school each year to do that, and then they have a different reunification site or zone based on the location of their building that they're evacuating, right? Because they have a bigger district than we do. And it was great to see, and it changed the way that we looked at a lot of our emergency planning, whether it was a chemical spill or a medical emergency or a train derailment or a fire or whatever, because a lot of the things that you learn in that moment, you might go, oh, wait, we don't have that covered on any page here. We didn't train anybody how to do that. They did it, great, yay. But what if the next person who covers that spot doesn't just intrinsically know to do that? So then we can write it down and have that very good conversation with staff going forward, so.
Yeah, no, and one of the challenges at the Glendon site is the railroad tracks, because, well, the community center makes sense. Oh, wait, that's on the other side of the tracks. We just wanted to make sure that the railroad was gonna be out of the picture. We're gonna go south somewhere. So Penders really appreciate their shop, is very large and has all the buses in it, and we felt like it could accommodate us, and they were willing to work with us, so, yeah, that's good stuff. Work session is next. Work session will be at the end of this month, actually March 31st from 5 to 7, and so that's actually next Monday, isn't it?
Yep.
Yikes, time flies. And that agenda will be sent out tomorrow. So take a look at that agenda tomorrow. If you think we're missing anything on that agenda, please let us know so we can update that, okay? Activities transportation, I think I did, yeah, I know I shared that too in the weekly update. Katie and Eileen, thank you to both of them, staying on. Eileen has, I'm gonna sneeze, I'm sorry.
Bless you.
As our transportation and AD, so thank you to both of them for willing to stay on. Yeah, just didn't find kind of what we were looking for, and it'll work, it's just not right now, I guess, so, yeah. Questions for me?
So that position, we're just gonna hold on it for now,
Yep, so they're willing to do it next year.
next year.
Yep,
Are we keeping it open in case we find someone, so?
Well, so just interesting question, Brittany, because somebody that is relocating to the Fargo-Moorhead area from outstate has reached out. And I'm not sure if we're gonna meet at all. They didn't even commit to a meeting. And I did talk to Eileen. Eileen had some plans at home as retirement.
Right.
And now has changed them because her and her husband have talked, totally okay with coming back. I wanted to make sure of that, so I sat with her. And so I don't want her to change those plans and now we find somebody either. So I told her that we're committed to having her stay. And if this person comes, and like I told her too, if she meets with this person, I meet with this person, we feel like, wow, this is perfect. She said we can talk to everybody. So, yeah. So technically, no, we're not having it open until sometime next year. We'll be able to. So, yeah, it's a good question. Other things for me.
Any other questions for Shannon on all the above?
Yeah.
No. All right, next we'll move on to 7.1, approval of our regular meeting minutes from March 10th. Do we have a motion? Motion by Laura. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Angela. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Next, consent agenda. We have claims and accounts. Our bills in the amount of what?
$315,828.93.
All right, and then in your packet is also the treasurer's monthly budget report. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Brittany. Do we have a second? Second. Second by Laura. Any questions or discussion? Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right, next we have 9.1, motion to approve the DGF fiscal year 26 Achievement and Integration Plan. Do we have a motion? Motion by Laura. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Angela's seconding. Any questions or discussion?
It is something that has been written, then it has to be rewritten as part of our World's Best Workforce, which is now called something else, I can't remember. Anyway, I have it here with me if you guys had any questions, but it's just going through our goals that we set back in December, and then how we're doing with them and what our goals will be for next year. So it is a requirement based on our test scores from a specific group, ethnic group, that we just go over on the percentage, so then their percentage of passing is just under the threshold, which puts you in A and I, so it's a report that not every school has to do. We have to just because of that. So anyway, it is right here if you want to look.
Do we do it every year?
It's a 3-year, so once you are in that A and I pool, it's not a pool, I guess, but in that group, you're in it for 3 years, so.
And do we resubmit it though every year, or is it just the one time and then reassessed in
Yep.
28?
We have to reassess it every year, so this is the time of year that we have to show again that, hey, we're doing it. So this one, this form is from July 1st, 2025, and will run through June 30th of 28.
Awesome.
Yep, so
Any other questions or discussion?
That's based on
MCA scores, yep. And again, it's just for one ethnic group that we got dinged on, I guess is another way to say it. We're just, there's a certain threshold of population, we're just over it, and then when we just got over it, we just missed the score too. It was like, okay, so here we are. It's
So just got a
another
little
report.
more work to do and
We-
trying to,
Yep, and it's specific then to that group and what we're doing with that, so, yep. So,
all right, any other questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 9.2, it's a motion to approve the audit contract with Brady Marks. This is kind of what we discussed at our budget meeting. There were 3 options, three firms that provided, what's the word? Bids for us, thank you, quotes, and Brady Marks came out substantially under the other bids that we got. So it will be a 3-year commitment with them, and so, yeah. With that said, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Brittany has a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Angela. Any questions or discussion?
I have the numbers with me too, if you want to, Marcus gave me these today just to share if anybody wanted to see them, so. Yep.
All right, any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. The next is a resolution for approving the non-renewing of a probationary teacher, and it will be read since it's a resolution.
Whereas Solveig Magnuson is a probationary teacher in Independent School District 2164, and be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District number 2164 as follows, that pursuant to Minnesota Statute 122A 40 subdivision 5 and the district master agreement, the teacher contract of Solveig Magnuson, the probationary teacher in Independent District number 2164, shall be non-renewed at the end of the 24-25 school year effective May 29, 2025. Be it further resolved that written notice be sent to said teacher regarding the non-renewal of the teacher's teaching contract.
All right. And then it's a roll call vote, but I believe we still have to do a motion and a second. So do I have a motion? Motion by Laura, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Angela. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call vote. Angela? Laura? Myself, aye. Brittany?
Aye.
Motion passes. 9.4 is also a resolution for non-renewing a probationary teacher.
Whereas Nicole Kittleson is a probationary teacher in Independent School District number 2164, and be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District 2164 as follows, that pursuant to Minnesota Statute 122A 40 40, subdivision 5, and the district master agreement, the teaching contract of Nicole Wilson, a probationary teacher in Independent School District number 2164, shall be non-renewed at the end of the 24-25 school year, effective May 29th, 2025. Be it further resolved that written notice be sent to said teacher regarding the non-renewal of the teacher's teaching contract.
Thank you, Laura. Can I get a motion? Motion by Angela, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Brittany. Any questions or discussions? Any question or discussion? All right, being a resolution, we'll have a roll call vote again. Angela?
Aye.
Laura? Nicole, aye. Brittany?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have 9.5. Need a motion to approve the fundraisers as presented in our packet.
And there was one new one from the parents group, the PTA group from the elementary. Yep, that's the only new one, yeah. And we looked at it as our admin meeting, just do that maybe before this one, and so Brittany did the presentation. I also got an email from the group, the parents group, 10 days ago, I guess, March 14th. So they asked, they typically have done the walkathon, and as a group, they decided they wanted to mix it up this year, and so this is what they'd like to do instead. So the walkathon has always been approved, so they were hoping that now that they want to do this instead, could they still do it, man? And I felt that was fine. Brittany would really like them to do it, because they were really excited about it. Of course, they said, well, it has to be approved by the board, so let's bring it here.
All
So I
right.
think there is quite a narrative in there for you, because Brittany just kind of cut and pasted what they wanted to do.
All right, do we have a motion? Motion by Laura, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Angela. Any other questions or discussion? There is quite an extensive description
So
there.
it looks like it's just going to be used to revamp the aesthetics of the elementary. Am I
Yeah,
getting
they
that
have,
right?
they have quite a,
It says revitalize the interior spaces of the school, enhance the overall aesthetic, and add amenities to various classrooms that teachers believe would improve the learning atmosphere.
to create a welcoming, functional, and inspiring environment for all students. Yeah, so
And so families just choose not to do this, that's fine, they don't have to.
that's my understanding, yes. Yeah, it's because the kids are gonna get raffle, they're gonna
Right.
get tickets to sell, so, yeah. It'll be what
Like
they,
K4?
what they get, that's my understanding, yeah.
PK, probably.
I thought it was Gotta keep
I don't see it.
it doesn't say, it just says each child, so.
I just never know if fifth grade is included in this elementary thing or if they're middle school thing.
They would not be in this, because this is for the Dover site. Yep,
Okay.
yep, no, good question.
Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. All right, next, 9.6 is a motion to approve the non-certified contract for Allison Marr Food Service, Class 1, Step 1, effective March 25th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Brittany, is there a second? Second by Laura. Any questions or discussion?
The only thing I want to say, and this will cover all of them that are coming, and Chase alluded to this as well, that the kitchen is going to take the staff on so we can run it through Fund 2. And so the supervisors and the custodians will work there and take care of that area. So all of the people you see here are going to be working through that. So, yep.
Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Next is a non-certified contract for Nicole Sutton Food Service, Class 2, Step 1, effective March 18th, 2025. Is there a motion? So moved. Motion by Angela, is there a second? Second. Second by Brittany. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 9.8 is another non-certified contract for John Bradley, food service class 1, step 3, effective March 17th, 2025. Is there a motion? Motion by Laura, is there a second? Second by Angela. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 9.9 is a non-certified contract for Leah Gamer, food service class 1, step 1, effective March 20th, 2025. Is there a motion? Motion by Angela, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Brittany. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 9.10 is a non-certified contract for Patricia Latney, food service class 1, step 1, effective March 25th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So,
Motion by Laura. Brittany, do you want to second it?
yep, I'll second.
Motion by Laura, seconded by Brittany. Any questions or discussion?
I'm assuming these will be split between Dilworth and Linden?
No, these are all Dilworth. So
All
we're gonna
Dilworth,
do all this in Dilworth first to see how this goes.
Okay.
It's a easier site and self-contained, so we wanted to test it out this spring
Okay.
and how it works. And then depending on how that goes, we're
Think
gonna,
about here.
yeah, we're gonna think about Glidden and if that would work here. Yep, good question.
All right, any other questions or discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Next is a 9.11 settlement approval for the final settlement offer with Comstock Construction. All right, is there a motion? Motion by Laura, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Brittany. Any questions or discussion?
Yeah, those will just put closure to that mediation, as we discussed here last time before, can't remember.
Did we receive those final details on the final,
Say that again?
Did we receive the details on the final settlement offer?
Yeah, I have it, I shared it with David, so David has seen it the whole time, and I was letting him decide if he wanted to share it, or when he wanted to share it
Okay.
with everybody, so we can discuss that after, I can't do that in the public. Yep, I can share that after the meeting.
Got it.
Yep, thank you, Ann.
All right, any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Number 10 is our board comments and future agenda. We have 10.1. Personnel Committee will be meeting Thursday, March 27th, 2025 at 5 p.m. in Shannon's office at the Dover site. 10.2, the school board work session, Monday, March 31st, 5 p.m. The Glendon Community Room right here. Our next board meeting will be April 14th, 2025, 6 p.m. at the DGF Community Room here. And then 10.4, Facilities Transportation Committee meeting, April 14th, following our school board meeting in this same location. Any questions on those? No? All right. Last is number 11. We got to adjourn the regular meeting of the Dilworth School District Board meeting. Do I have a motion? Motion by Laura. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Brittany. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. The meeting is adjourned at 7:03 p.m. Clunky, sorry guys. No.
Nice.